So recently I was asked by a viewer if I would go into more detail on how I drive traffic to my website and Etsy shop. And I thought, I haven't spoken about that before. Let's do it. But there's a disclaimer, because there always is. Nothing that I'm going to say in this video is a short-term tip or trick or hack. So anybody who wants to watch this video and take any of the stuff that I do on board for their own business, just know that it is a long game. That's the one you're playing. That's the one I'm playing. So that's the one I'm going to be talking about. Okay? Okay, let's go. Okay, so when you usually think about driving traffic to your website or your Etsy shop or your whatever, you're usually thinking about things like paid ads, Pinterest, social media, an email list, a blog, a YouTube channel. And not all of them are organic. The paid ads that I mentioned right at the beginning, you got to throw money at that and know what you're doing, because anybody can create an ad. Not everybody can create an ad that converts. But when people make videos and they're sort of listing the different ways that you can bring traffic to your website or Etsy shop or whatever, they're usually focusing on the what, not the how. And that's what I want to talk about in more detail today, is the how, not the what. Okay, I'm going to share 5 things, but all of these 5 things come under the umbrella of community. Don't go away. I am going to share stuff that I haven't said before. I know you've heard the community thing quite a few times, but that's because it's important. Granted, if you're in certain niches, having a community around your business isn't going to be such a big deal. But if, like me, you have a handmade business, having a community around it is essential. And I'm just going to assume that you're like a handmade business or something like me where a community would be a good fit. Otherwise, why are you watching? Not that I mind, don't go away. I mean, even if you're not enjoying my content, you can stick around and see if you can find the womble in the video. If you know, you know. Okay, so umbrella, community, we got that. The first way that I drive traffic to my insert thing here, website, Etsy shop, blog, whatever, I talk to people. I know, it sounds ridiculously simplistic, doesn't it?
Ridiculously simplistic.
It's so important, because I've seen so many people rock up onto YouTube and start a YouTube channel and nobody talks to the people that take time out of their day to leave a comment. Same on social media, even though it's called social media. And there's a reason for this, apart from the fact that I can't shut up and I like to engage with people online. I mean, let's be honest, I'd be doing it anyway, even if it wasn't a part of my business, because I like to chat. And I can understand why it might be a problem if you don't like to chat. But as I say, if you want to build a business online and a community is going to be a big part of that, then you're going to have to get a bit chatty. And it doesn't mean spending your entire day replying to comments. Nobody needs to do that, even me. Everybody has chunks in their day where they can just pick out their phone and reply to comments. And in this day and age where everything is so instant and people barely have the time or the willpower now to like something, or I don't know, give a video a thumbs up. If somebody does do that or goes one step further and writes out a comment, they're literally taking time out of their day on the internet, which is so... I'll stop doing that because I know that's obnoxious, but you get my point. Maybe it's the Brit in me, I don't know, but I just think it's really rude to just completely ignore them, unless they're rude first, in which case they can get in the bin. So yes, number 1, I talk to people. You can't build a community without communication. Now, if that one made you feel uncomfortable, this one's going to make you feel even worse. The second thing I do is make myself visible. This one is a massive one, and this was the one that stopped me from growing right at the start. So I've been running my business now for 10 years, and I've only really seen real growth in the last 2.5. The one thing that I did differently was I made myself visible. It was really bloody uncomfortable. I hated it at the beginning. I hated putting myself in front of the camera. Talking to myself, talking to my phone felt alien. It was a whole process to get over that. And I have gone back and deleted some of the videos that I've posted because... bleh. But the difference was I pushed through it. Why? Because I had a bit of an epiphany. I realised that my business was never going to grow to the extent that I wanted it to unless I made myself visible and got in front of the camera and started showing up. And that did not feel good at first. Now I struggle to shut up, I struggle to stop, and I really enjoy it. I promise you, if this hard-assed introvert can do it, you can too. It does take practice, but you have to push through that discomfort. You have to be willing to sit with it. This is why I'm saying that none of these things are short-term wins. These are things that are going to take time. Being visible has been the difference in my business. It brought it from here to here. You've heard the whole know, like, and trust factor. People need to see your face. They need to feel that kind of connection. They need to know who they're buying from, who they're engaging with. The reason why I'm spending a lot of time talking about being visible is because it is by far the most important one. And I know that a lot of you just cringe at the idea of being visible, of making a reel or a short or a video, or even taking a selfie and putting it on an Instagram grid. That just feels like a step too far. And you might be thinking, well, how does that drive traffic to your website? It's because people automatically make a connection. So even a selfie on your Instagram grid that just reminds people, like, this is the person behind the thing, can go a long way. I don't have too many selfies on my own, but that's because I'm usually almost always in the stories. So let's just say you're talking to people and you're allowing yourself to be visible. Well done. The next thing is to just let your personality come through. Don't try and be too wooden. The first video that I had that ironically took off, it was a fairly lengthy video for me at the time, and I started it really kind of presenter Kim, you know, I thought the way I had to turn up online, and it was very wooden, very boring, and halfway through that video I was just tired. I was so tired because it wasn't me, and I was having to use a lot of energy to show up like that, and I was just getting like, oh, I can't be bothered. So by the end of the video, I just showed up as myself, and I visibly relaxed. If anybody wants to know what video that is, I'll put it in the description. It's a pros and cons video from 2001, and it did really well, and I think that is because I let my personality shine through. I need to note something. Your personality does not need to be this. This is my particular flavour of nonsense. You need to show up with your own flavour of nonsense, and trust me, we all have one. There are people who want to watch videos presented by people like you. So whatever your particular thing is, come as you are. Yes, I did just accidentally quote Nirvana. Okay, another long-term one. I experiment all the time on social media, on here, with the shop. Any way that I can think to drive traffic, I will experiment with it, and I will drop anything that doesn't work, and then I will lean into the things that do. It's constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall because everything's evolving. Buyer behavior evolves, viewer behavior evolves, and you've got to evolve with it. And the only way that you can do that sometimes, if you haven't got a clue where evolution is going, is to just chuck spaghetti at the wall. I was gonna swear, but I didn't. Just try things out and see what's working, and lean into the stuff that works and drop the stuff that doesn't work. That's the fourth thing. The fifth and final thing, and you're gonna hear this and you're gonna eye roll so hard, be consistent. Bear with, there is a real reason for this, and that is, and I'm talking about my own viewer, buyer behavior as well when I'm talking about this. If you are consistent, people will trust you. It's not the frequency that's important, it's the consistency. And this is the problem. This is the thing that I think people get wrong. They hear the word consistency and they think, oh, regularly, all the time, too much work. No, consistent means just that. Consistent. You get to choose how frequent your consistency is. When I first started this channel, it was once a month. Then I upped it to once a fortnight, and now I'm once a week. Well, I'm supposed to be, but like I said right at the beginning of this video, I can't shut up, so I've done quite a few lately. I took a break recently and it's recharged my batteries, what can I say? So yes, figure out what a consistent routine would be for you. If that's once a month, that's enough, but be consistent with it. And it's the consistency that people will latch onto, because they will learn to trust you, because they know that you will show up. You're not being flaky. You're not saying, oh yeah, I'll do a video a week and then nothing. That's why consistency is important. It's not the frequency. It's the fact that you are showing people that you are taking yourself and your business seriously. It does not mean that you cannot take breaks. This does not mean that your mental and physical health has to take a back seat. No. Front seat, front and center, always. Just popping that in there because that's important. So this, in a nutshell, is how I drive organic traffic to my website. I talk to people. I make myself visible. I share my personality, whether you want me to or not. I experiment all the time, and I'm as consistent as I humanly can be. And if you've got this far into the video, then as a thank you and a bonus, I'm going to mention just a few other things to bear in mind because these are nuggets of gold. Just remember that people need to see and be able to speak to you. Also remember that it is sales. That is the important metric. I know this video is about traffic, but at the end of the day, the metric that you should be focusing on the most is sales, because you can do things that will skyrocket your traffic and it will mean nothing. Because if you're not making any sales at the end of the day, then your business is not very healthy. Patience. Yeah, I know, I'm not very good at this one either. Building a community, increasing your traffic, increasing your sales, growing a mailing list, whatever the thing is that you're doing, it takes time and it starts small. So patience. I know, I hate that one too, but it's important. And for fear of sounding trite as heck, the successful people are the ones that keep going, who keep showing up, who keep persevering. This is how I drive organic traffic to my website, to my Etsy shop. And as I've said in the past, I bring in most of my sales, more so than Google or Etsy or whatever. So all of the things I've said may sound pretty broad, but they bloody work. And that is why I thought I'd make this video today. Now, obviously, I think YouTube is a really great place to build community and do all of the things that I've mentioned. So did you know that they've lowered the barrier to entry to being monetized now? Yeah, I did a video about it. There, go check it out. It's very short, but it's... go watch.